Okay, this is the Dreamers Chapter 9. This is a little bit longer than the other ones were. So, Gloria and Miss Lollar were attending the game together and were waiting for Gus and me in the guest lounge after the game. Mrs. James had decided that she didn't quite feel up to a large crowd and all the noise and decided to stay home and listen on the radio. As soon as Gloria saw me come through the doors of the locker room, she jumped up and rushed to me and threw her arms around my neck. "You were wonderful tonight," she said softly in my ear. She released her arms from around my neck, moved her hands to the back of my head, and gave me a wonderful, soft, loving kiss. "You don't even need to ask," she said quietly. "There will be many of those on more nights if you go 0 for 5, if that's all right with you." "Well, that'll be just fine with me," I replied, "but I hope to keep the 0 for 5s to a minimum, if you don't mind. You do have a way of making an Illinois boy feel right at home." "Come on, you two," chirped Mrs. Lollar. "Let's get on home. You can do the same thing tomorrow night if that's all right with you. Let's go home and get some rest." "Okay, Mom," I shot back to Mrs. Lollar. "You're the boss. I'll behave myself. Are we going to have a bed check every night? You know, the kind Vince Lombardi used to have with the Green Bay Packers? Or do you prefer the honor system?" "I will only recommend, Bill," added Miss Lollar. "What you do is up to you. Besides, you should enjoy yourself after the game like tonight. Gus tells me you and Tavi got the game balls. That's great." "Yeah, it sure is," says Gus. "The way the Monarchs played tonight, almost everyone could have gotten a game ball. I thought those 2 catches by Miller and left were unbelievable." "Well, Bill, I'm just so proud of the way you played your first game as a Monarch," beamed Mrs. Lollar. "I wish Becky and Bob could have been here to see it, but they'll have plenty of time to do just that. Becky is coming home from spring break on Wednesday for a whole week. Bob is going to fly in from Hanscom Air Force Base on Friday and said he has 3 days off and is looking forward to meeting you. It'll be wonderful having everybody at home at the same time," said Mrs. Lollar, beaming ear to ear. Gloria's beaming face went kind of flat. You can sense that the wheels in her mind were turning 1,000,000 miles an hour. "Gloria," I asked, "is something wrong?" No, everything's fine," she said, as she looked up at me, trying desperately to return a smile to her face. "Everything is just peachy. Can we get out of here?" She headed out the double doors leading to the tunnel to the parking lot. I wasn't sure what was going on, but Mary and Gus were so caught up in the good news of everyone coming home that they overlooked just how distressed Gloria had become. I followed her out the door. It was all I could do just to try and catch up to her. "Gloria, wait," I shouted. "Gloria, slow down, will you?" I asked. I shouted down the corridor, breaking into a trot. "Gloria!" Gloria got into the car without saying a word. Something had really upset her. I just didn't know what, but could sense that it would be like pulling nails to get her to talk about it to me. She didn't say a word all the way to her house. I pulled up in front and shut off the engine, sitting quietly, just staring out the front windshield. "Gloria," I began, "this doesn't seem like you. I tried everything to break the ice. You and I seem to be getting along so well. We've talked about so many things in the last few days. I know we are just starting to care about each other, and it hurts me when I see you upset. And I can't help you because you won't share the thing with me. Can't you tell me what's bothering you? Is it about Bob coming home? I know it must have something to do with him, so please talk to me. Don't shut me out. I just want to help." Gloria sat quietly for a few moments longer. She turned to me, and for the first time, I saw tears streaming down her beautiful cheeks. She moved across the seat, throwing her head on my shoulder, and began sobbing. After a moment or so, she began pulling herself together. taking a handkerchief from her purse and began to wipe the tears from her face. I brushed one or two from her cheek with my thumb. "This is all going to be so complicated," Gloria began. "I don't know where to begin. I was hoping that I could forget the past and start fresh. Meet someone like you, fall in love, and get all my feelings in line. Under control. I needed to begin thinking about my future with someone, a possible family, things a girl my age should be thinking about. I'm 22 years old and still have feelings like a high school girl." She paused for a moment, obviously trying to collect her thoughts. "You see," said Gloria, continuing, "when Mary said Bob was coming home, I realized for the first time that I still haven't quite gotten over him. I thought I had gotten over him, that I was and am falling for you, but then realized I still had feelings for Bob, and that's not fair to you, Bill. Just her mentioning him coming home made me realize that these feelings were just dormant, but still there, just suppressed. Maybe I was trying to trick myself into thinking my feelings for him were gone for good. He was gone. Maybe the feelings were too. I think that maybe I was using you as a substitute, as you and Bob are much alike. But you are not him, and in many ways that is a big plus for you. I know that I really do like you, but I still realize that I have some strong feelings for Bob. There's just too much history to totally erase. But I can tell you that the feelings I have for you are much different. Maybe it is because I'm older, probably wiser, if that makes any sense. This must sound all so crazy to a terribly stable person like yourself," she concluded with a faint smile appearing on her face. All during this conversation, Gloria was twisting her handkerchief tighter and tighter. I could tell this was not easy for her, coming to grips with her true feelings. The fact that she really cared for me made it even harder for her. She was not that kind of girl to lead some guy on, always trying to be truthful, always up front. Bob was a lucky guy, he just didn't know it. "Gloria, please don't feel bad about how you feel," I replied. "It hurts me a little too because I'm falling for you too. And if we are having this talk a year from now, it would hurt a lot worse. I've never gotten involved with anybody before, as I saw my high school friends hurt each other time and time again by getting too serious and then having to back off as college and career choices alter their life directions. It would be very easy for me to not let you off the hook here and let you know that I wasn't going to give up on you and our relationship, just being selfish. Bob Lollar is a big boy. Let him take care of himself. I am not going to make this more difficult for you than it is already. I want you to know that I will probably always care about you and wonder what the future could hold for us. But I think that fate maybe is Bob and you together. I don't know. If on the chance that it doesn't work out and I just happen to be around, why don't you give me a call and see where I stand? Who knows? Maybe we're both wrong." A smile started to come across Gloria's face, with a brief chuckle after my last sentence. "You've got a deal," Gloria said, turning her beautiful face toward me, looking deeply into my eyes. "You are certainly taking this well for someone not even 20. I could be making a big mistake." "You probably are," I said, "but I won't ever tell you I told you so. It'll be just our little secret. Fair enough?" We sat there in the car silently for quite a while. It was way too somber for me. "I'd better go in now. I don't want Mom to worry about me," stated Gloria as she reached for the door handle to get out of the car. "I understand," I replied. "I won't kiss you goodnight as it just might make it tougher than it is. I still want us to be great friends. Good friends, understood? Gloria smiled and wiped the last of her tears away. She opened the car door and made her way into the house. I still couldn't believe what had just happened. If this had been a dream, it would be classified as a nightmare. This had turned out to be quite a day, all right. A baseball high and a personal low. While driving back to the Lollar's house, my mind was racing like an Indianapolis 500 race car, jumping from one thought to another, but never staying on one thought long enough to sort anything out or come to a conclusion. Did I give up on Gloria too easily? Did I get her off the hook? Should I have resisted her wanting to terminate our relationship? Terminated? That's what I was? Terminated? I really didn't have much to say on the matter, really. Or did I? I don't know. Maybe I did. Maybe I was the one who wanted out, but she said it first. Really, no, I didn't. I really like Gloria a lot. If love was more than what I was feeling then, it must really be something. Maybe I should go back and tell her that I'm not going to give up so easy. Maybe that is what she was really looking for. Maybe she was testing me. Maybe she was waiting for me to tell her how much I loved her and would not let her leave like Bob did. Maybe Bob and I are just alike. Maybe we both can't finish a love we start. But he loved her. How could he have left her like he did? Maybe he is just a self-centered jerk and didn't deserve Gloria in the first place. Maybe he is all just too wrapped up in Bob, his life, his problems, never taking into account anybody else's feelings or needs. Maybe he just never considered how lives interact with others and the demands that he's made upon them. Greatness has its shares of responsibility. I was beginning to doubt whether Bob Lollar really thought about his effect on other people, especially Gloria, and whether she really loved him, was waiting for him to grow up. What am I saying? I've never even met the guy, and I'm already drawing conclusions about him. That's not very fair. I better slow down. If Gloria had waited this long for him, he must really be a pretty good guy after all. I pulled into the Lollar's driveway. The Lollars appeared to still be up as the downstairs lights were on. I went around to the back of the house to go in the back door. Just as I made the turn, the neighbor's cat, Oblio, ran like a lightning bolt between my feet, scaring me half to death. I went into the house trying to regain my composure. "Hi, Bill," said Mary as she reached into the refrigerator. "Sounds like you either met or stepped on the neighbor's cat. He's not an attack cat, you know." Now she was beginning to laugh. "You want anything from the Lollar grill before you go to bed?" "No, Mary, I'm fine except for that darn cat nearly giving me a heart attack." "I think I've had enough for one night. Is Gus still up? I would really like to talk to both of you if I could." "Sure, Bill. Gus is in the living room," replied Mary. "I'm just fixing him something to drink. I'll bring you a little something too, and then we can have our little chat." I walked into the living room where Gus was watching the sports news. The reporter was talking about the Orioles beating the Yankees on opening day 10-4. "Yanks don't have much of a lick of pitching," Bill stated Gus. "It's going to be a long season for Bucky Dent, the Yankees manager." Gus acknowledged my arrival into the room. "Who knows, maybe they'll bring back Billy Martin for the 75th time. Oh, wait a minute. He died, didn't he?" "Stranger things have happened in the big bull orchard in the Bronx, as Mr. Art Russ used to call it." "Who's he, this Russ guy?" I asked. "Arthur George Russ, Jr. He is Mr. Sports Talk Radio on WABC in New York. He has a radio call-in show in the evenings. People call in from all over the place, talking about all kinds of sports. Mets, Yanks, Giants, Jets, Islanders, Rangers, Knicks, Nets, Devils. You name it, Art talks about it. If you can kick it, punch it, swat it, bounce it, drive it, bank it, throw it, or just shoot it, Art is the man. Some of the people who call in are off the wall. Most are pretty knowledgeable about sports. Die-hard fans usually. You should listen sometime. You'd like it. Gus, you sound like his marketing manager or something, I jokingly add. You get a commission on every listener you sign up? Don't I wish, laughed Gus. I'll have to talk to Art about it the next time I see him. He's always been really nice and friendly to me, even some Class AA locker room jockey like me. Go figure. Mary had come into the room with our cold drinks. She set the tray on the coffee table and went over and turned the television off. She went and sat next to Gus on the sofa. Gus, Billy said he wanted to talk to us about something, said Mary, indicating to Gus why he turned off his television set before he could question her sanity about messing with his nightly sports telecast. What is it you have on your mind, Bill asked Mary. Mary, you and Gus have been wonderful to me ever since I got to town and became part of the Monarchs, I said. You don't want to move out, do you? Asked Mary, as if she had done something wrong. Oh, no, Mary, nothing like that. I quickly responded to put her at ease. In fact, I hope I can stay for as long as you'll have me. It feels just like home here with you and Gus. I really appreciate you putting up with me. It has been great. Well, son, what's on your mind? Inquired Gus. Spill it. I'm not getting any younger, you know. Don't want me to watch TV in my boxers anymore? I can deal with that. Mary has been trying to get me to stop for the last decade. It's the least I can do for a new star player. No, Gus, you can watch TV in your underwear, I reply. That's between you and the missus. I have something more serious than that. What I have to say is very difficult, considering all of the people that are involved. It concerns Gloria, Bob, John Tavy, and his sister. This is very difficult for me because I care for you and Mary so much. I'm even falling for Gloria. Even this thing with Tavy was a little bizarre until Bolton helped me put the pieces together, I add. Mary and Gus, tonight I decided to stop seeing Gloria. It was really more Gloria's idea than mine. Shoot, it was all her idea. She realized tonight that for the first time in a long time that she still was in love with Bob. This love has been going on ever since grade school, but he seemed to be more one-sided because Bob showed a little interest and she had been quite lonely. Then I showed up, live in Bob's house, sleep in Bob's bed, maybe even symbolically take over Bob's place in the sports world. It's almost like a new Bob arrived in town to take the place of the real one. Gloria pictured me as the new Bob Lollar and thought she was falling in love with me too. But in reality, it's still that Bob she's really in love with. But she sure likes me a lot. But Bob doesn't seem to know that she exists, as he never calls her, never writes, just ignores her. This girl is no chopped liver. She is drop-dead gorgeous and very nice to boot. She is bright, warm, charming, witty, everything a bright male should be looking for in a girl. The funny thing is Bob is nowhere on the radar to be found for her, yet she waits for some sign from him. I learned from Bolton about Bob's college recruitment trip. It seems that there was a number of people who were wrongly hurt by others who let a practical joke get way out of hand. But life goes on for them and even Gloria. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has disappointments. You just can't quit on yourself, your dreams, and most of all,